is Tech Room powered by Loctech. I'm your host, Akilachi KJ, but you can call me the Resident Texas. Tech Room is the corporate social responsibility of the Loctech Training Institute. It's a TV program that brings information technology education to our community's doorstep. We do this at Loctech because we believe that everyone, regardless of financial status, gender, or age, should have access to information technology education. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of the most educative TV show. Yes, I said it. It's Tech Room powered by Loctech. And I'm your Resident Texas, your host, Akilachi KJ. And on this segment, we have a conversation with the people of Loctech. Interestingly, I have two internship students here with me on the show. Welcome to the show, Zuriel.
Thank you for having me.
And welcome to the show, Benedict.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have both of you here. All right, Zuriel, can you just introduce yourself to our audience?
Hello, my name is Chike Zuriel. I'm a 400 level computer engineering student of Covenant University, and at Loctech, I'm learning web development and UI UX design.
All right, and you?
My name is Ibe Benedict Agilo, a student of Caritas University, 300 level IT student, of course, studying computer science.
Okay. So, generally, what has your learning experience been like here at the Loctech Training Institute? Holistically, so talking about the curriculum, the environment, the facilitators, what's the quality like?
Okay, well, starting from the environment, I can say that it's really decent, and like even the instructors as well. One thing about Loctech I can really say is that the environment is just very calm to learn, and everybody is friendly, like even like down to like your instructors and everything. It's just really encouraging, because I mean a lot of times what you're learning is not quite easy, but they are ready to take their time and like answer your questions individually, and even if you are not able to understand everything during the class, they're still available to like answer afterwards, which is so encouraging as well.
Right. Okay, so Benedict, you're studying data analysis with Python and SQL, yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, quickly tell us, why did you choose that course?
Well, honestly speaking, I really wanted to do cybersecurity. Starting like at the beginning of my IT, that was what I was looking for. And but I had a discussion with my dad, and then we talked about like how cybersecurity is just up there, and we need to start taking the steps towards that goal. And he was like, why should I like just jump into it? Let me go start with data analysis with Python and SQL. And I said, okay, no problem. And when I came to Loctech and found out that that's what they did, and I said, I believe that it's just very amazing. I don't regret it, honestly.
So the curriculum, is it standard? I mean, compared to what obtains in the global level? Is it?
The curriculum is standard because I do my research. Okay. I know what I paid for,
okay,
or what my dad paid for. But I do my research. I make sure that even if maybe they're teaching me something, they're leaving something out, I'll try to make sure that they don't. Okay. And when I did my research, I found out that everything was in line.
Okay.
So it's good. It's standard.
Fantastic. So thank you so much, Zuriel and Benedict, for coming on the hottest show, which is Tech Room powered by Loctech. I'll see you in the next segment.
Welcome back, guys, to the fourth and final part of our UI UX design series. Yeah, it's been a fun run, and it's me again, Olens Asinobi, the UI UX design instructor here at Loctech. Today is going to be our last lesson for this UI UX series. I hope you've learned a lot. And on that note, today we are going to be discussing about something more fun. Now, I know last week we discussed about wireframes and I introduced you guys to FIGMA. Today we are going to be discussing about mockups, prototyping, and we'll still explore more tools on the properties panel in FIGMA as well. So stay tuned. All right, so I'm moving over now to my system. So over in my Figma now, you see that this is an example of a mock-up screen. Yeah, that I told you. You see the difference between a mock-up and a wireframe. There are colors, there are pictures, there are text, there are even icons as well. So for today, we might not be able to have enough time to redesign this screen. So what we are going to be doing is to recreate this search bar over here, this bar that has a search for food. Now we see that there are some effects. You know, there's color, there's an icon here, and there's text. So we're going to see how to add these effects, how to redesign this from scratch. So first things first, I have to create a rectangle. So I'm just going to go over to the toolbar and click on rectangle. I'm sure you guys have met each other in our previous class. So I've drawn a rectangle here, and as you can see, my rectangle, or this part, has rounded edges like this, but this one has sharp edges, so that can easily change. First things first, in our design panel, you see that our properties has popped up. Now it's looking a little bit more sophisticated related to this particular rectangle. So on the first part is our alignment options, where you can align different elements. Now currently it's inactive because it's only one element that is selected, so there's no way it can be aligned to anywhere. That's why this panel is inactive. Then the next has to do with the sizing and the positioning. You see the width and the height of this particular rectangle. You can link them together so that if you increase the width, the height goes along with it. That's the point of this chain. Then the next one is the corner radius. Now this corner radius is what we use to give these round edges. So if I just click, you see that as I keep my mouse on this some of this bend, the cursor changes to an arrow pointing left and right. So if I click and drag, you see what's going on there. My radius starts getting like rounded, yeah, something like this. So just as easy as that. Then the next thing that we have to do is to change our color. So you see that this shape is currently gray, but while this is white. So to do that, I'm going to come down to this fill section here. Yeah, this part that says fill, it means the fill color, the color of the shape in question. So I'll just click on this small box. This is where you can change the color. You can use this right up in case if you have the hex code. There's what we call the hex code in colors. You can just input the hex code here. Yeah, I see it's very easy. You can change the opacity, you can turn off the color with this visibility icon, or you can remove the color completely with this minus, so it has no fill at all, it's just there. So but we want a fill, so I'm going to click on this and I will change it to white. Yes, now many times you might want to have a color from this background where it's a particular color. Perhaps you want to copy this exact color and you don't know where the exact color came from or how to get it. There is a tool called the eyedropper tool that most design tools have, and Figma has it as well. The shortcut to this tool is I on the keyboard, or you can see it down here on the field on this color bar beside the color slider. It looks like an eyedropper actually, so you just click on it and then you hover above the parts that you want to copy the color from, click, and there you get your color, as easy as that. Now you can see as well that Figma has a list of, like a catalog of all the colors that appears on this page. Here you can just scroll down and it's like a history of colors. It's really helpful. So on top, you see this is the fill color, solid color that we are in currently. The next option is the gradient. In case you want to add more than one colors to your shape, you can just click on this gradient right here. You see the two different colors that we have. If you want to add more, just click on this plus and more colors keep on popping up. You can click and drag to adjust their positioning and stuff like that, but we don't want all that, so let me just reduce it. Adjust this back. The next one is your image. Now this one is in case you want to fill this particular box with a picture, just like something I did here. Although this is what I did. Yes, I used a rectangle. I've already removed the picture, the background of the image, and then I chose an image from my device, but we don't want that, so I'm going to close it and I'm moving over to fill because that's what we want. I'll change it back to white. So I've gotten my first shape. Now I want to get this second one right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to duplicate this. So I'll hold Alt, click and drag. Yes, click and drag, and you see that it has become 2. I'll then drag this down a little bit. Now these two are white. I want to be able to differentiate them, so I'm going to change the color to this. Now remember the tool that I said we can use for that, the eyedropper tool. The shortcut is I on the keyboard. I just pressed I, and you see that the tool has come up. You can see this representing the color that you're copying from. So if I take the mouse over here, you see that this color changes. Just take note of this big circle right here. My mouse is here and the color is sampled. So if I click, automatically my shape picks that color. Now for alignment, you see that I just clicked this shape and dragged it over to the other one, and FIGMA automatically aligns it top, left and center with these 3 red lines that you can see here. But in case you're finding it difficult to align your shape, so I'm just going to act like if I can't align these shapes currently. I'll place it this way. It's so hard. All you have to do is select these 2, and you see that our alignment panel up here has come back to life. So I can align them to the left. They will all start at the same point. I can align them to the center like this. I can align them to the right, which is practically what I want. Then I don't want this guy to be down. I want them to be on the same line on top. So I'm going to align them on top, just like this. So you see that align to the right and align to on top has given me exactly the same result that I want, just like that. That's why this alignment panel is so important and very helpful. So I'm going to go ahead to reduce this now a little bit. And there's another problem. My shape's rounded edges appears on both sides, which is not what we want. So I need to make this edge, the left hand side, completely flat. Oh, no worries. Remember our independent corner radius that I told us about. So I'm just going to click there. You see both top left and bottom left has a corner radius. So I'll drag this all the way down to 0. Oh, it's 4. Let me manually impute it then. Then I'll do the same for the bottom 0. I press enter, I close, and voila, my shape has taken the exact shape that I want it to take. Then this stuff is coming to life. I want this white to have this drop shadow effect that we can see here. You see this stuff, I want it to apply here. So what I'm going to do, I'll select it again, not stroke. I'll go over this time around to effects. Now I'll click on effect. The very first effect that comes out by default is the drop shadow effect. Don't worry yourself, that's the default effect, but doesn't mean that's the only one. You have others. You have the inner shadow like this. It really looks nice, but since this is not what we're going for, I'm not going to use it. And then we have the drop shadow, the layer blur, to blur the layer or blur the background blur. So I chose this drop shadow. Whichever one you choose, you can easily edit it by clicking on this effect settings here. So this, I've given my shape an effect, a drop shadow. I've created this extra shape. Now there are some more things that I need to do. So now I have an icon here, this search icon in form of magnifying glass. Remember when in our last video we talked about the FIGMA community. So I can get this magnifying glass from the FIGMA community. It's an icon. I can just go and search for an icon, or I can get it by means of a plugin at FIGMA. A plugin in FIGMA. So I just have to right click and you see plugins. Save plugins. Now I have already done this before, so I have this plugin saved, but in case you don't have, you're not going to see this save plugins option. You're just going to see manage plugins, and if you click on this manage plugins, you'll see this search menu that comes up that is under this resources panel. So in case you can't right click, you just come over to this resources panel. You see components, plugins and widgets. Of course, you search for whatever you're looking for and you can get them. So in this case, I want to search for a plugin where I can get icons. Now we have lots of plugins for that, but the one I use a lot is Iconify. As you can see, I've saved it, I've used it before, it's already here. But for you might not have anyone, so all you have to do is just search for Iconify like this. Iconify. Let it load. Takes time depending on your internet connection, and voila, you see that it's saved already from the community. It's still there, but this is what we're looking for. So I'm just going to click on this and it's loading. So the point is we want to get this search bar, this search icon. So I'm going to search Iconify, search for search icon. search. Yeah. Yes, and you see that we have a list of all the icons, right? So I will select this one. This one looks good to me, and I will import it. Yes, now my icon is here. Now if you notice, there is a big block around my icon. While this helps you to keep your shape, the size of your icon intact, it is also advisable to remove this guy from the icon. Why? Because any color you add will automatically affect the block, not the icon. So if I want to change the color from black to white now, just watch this. It's currently on white, but it's not affecting, sorry about that. If I want to change it from black to white now, you see that it's currently on white. It's not affecting the icon itself. I have to go down to selection of colors and then change it, which is sometimes you can forget, it's stressful and all of that. So it's just best you remove this icon from the frame. So we'll do that by double clicking on it, then click and drag it out of the frame, and our frame, bye bye. Anything I do will affect only my icon directly. So you see that my field is now black, so I'm going to change this to white. Yeah, it's almost not visible, but don't worry, it will soon be visible. So take this over to this. So it's always best to use this layers panel, but since I can't find it here, I'm going to use a shortcut on my keyboard to just bring it up. I will press the front arrow key, the right arrow key, bracket key on the keyboard. It is the key, the bracket key is beside the P, the letter P on the keyboard. So the left and the right bracket key, the one beside the letter P on the keyboard, those block bracket keys, those are the ones that you want. So I'm going to click on it, and I've done that, and you see that my icon is now on top. So I'll make sure that my icon and this guy is well centralized, but before that I want to reduce the size a little bit. So I'm holding shift and then dragging inwards. Let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, hold shift and then drag inwards, then select both of them together by holding shift, and then I'll go back to our trusty alignment panel, align this to the center, align this to the middle, and voila, it is aligned. So that being done, the last and final thing that we have to do is to add text, this search food. So I'm going to use our type tool, shortcut is T on the keyboard, text, click on it, and I'll add search food, search food. Yeah, so first things first, you want to change the typeface. Now currently this is the typeface that I use, this enter, but if you want that, if you don't want this, you can just click on this enter. You have a list of different typeface font families, any one of your choice, but I'm going to stick with enter. I'm going to leave it at regular, regular, but the size 10 is okay to me, but I'll change the color. It shouldn't be this black. This black is a little bit too given, too bold, so yeah, I want to humble it a little bit. Yeah, something like this, so subtle. Yeah, this looks good. So I'll take it all the way here. Now you see my lines have come up, so I don't even need to align this again. So it's already at the center of this search bar, which is just what I want. So now that we're done, we can group all these elements together by simply clicking and dragging over them and pressing Ctrl G on the keyboard, or you right click and group selection is all up to you. So now this is as far as we can go on the design aspect, because we can't do more. Our time is not on our side. But one last thing that we have to know before we call it a day for today is what we call prototyping. Now, coding is not needed for prototyping. But what does prototyping mean? It means you're trying to now represent how the screens will transition from one to another. You're trying to give it like a real life scenario. How will it look like in the real world? But you don't need to code. So how will one screen move from one to another? So that is what prototyping is all about. And now remember, I said before you make a design, you need to create a frame. Make sure that your design is in a frame. So we can't prototype from screen or from rectangle to rectangle. It won't be recognized. It must be in a frame. So to do that, I'm just going to create a rough example here. You can explore that at your own time. I'll create a frame, a new frame, something like this. Yeah, and automatically my rectangle, you see, it's inside the frame. So I'm okay with that. But if it's not, you just have to click and make sure that your rectangle is inside the frame. You can confirm it by your layers panel here. You see currently it's under the frame. That is what we want. So now that it's done, I'm going to go over to our prototype panel. Let me zoom out a little bit. So I want this, let's just say in a situation where this button, this search bar button should take you to this screen. That's just what we want. So I'm going to select this rectangle. When you select it, once you're on this prototype panel here, you see that there are small tiny circles that appear on the center of each corner. So these are where you can create what we call nodes or links, connection links. So you see that plus icon, you just click it and drag, and then it takes it automatically to the very next frame that is beside it. Once you release, you will see this small dialog box that comes up. Now this dialog box is divided into sections. The very first section is your trigger. Now what does it mean? What do you want, or what will you do? What action will the user do to take this screen from here to here? That's what we mean by trigger. So currently it's set to on click, which means that if we click, your screen should move. You understand me? So we want it to be on click. If you want drag, while hovering, while pressing, mouse enter, leave, all of that, it's all up to you, it's your choice. But currently I want it to be on click. Then the next one is your destination, the movement, sorry, your transition. Is it moving? Is it navigating to? How is it going to go? Is it moving, or is it going back to? Are you setting a variable? Are you opening an overlay? So currently we want navigate to. So on click, navigate to. So on click, if person clicks on this, it is navigating the person to this. Then the next one is your animation. How do you move? Is it an instant animation that immediately you click, it moves? Do you want this all smart animate, move in, move out, push, slide in, slide out? At your own time, you can explore all this, but for today, we're just going to stick to instant. We just want something simple and plain. So now that I've prototyped these two together, it's time to see our prototype in action. So I'll just click on this and then press play. Plus this play icon that is usually on top here. You can just play it and preview your prototyping. So this is as far as we can go for today. It was really fun. Yeah, we've learned a lot. We've understood what prototyping is. We've understood what mockups are and how to create mockups. So at your own time, I would expect you guys to create your own mobile app. You create your wireframe, you design a mockup. Now, in case if you don't know how to get started, you can always use your FIGMA community. Search for any mobile app screen that you want, an e-commerce app, restaurant menu app, fintech app, anyone. Just search for it on the community, and you will see a host of designs done by professionals. So it has been a really fun streak with you guys who started from the beginning up until this point. I want to thank you so much for being here. So this is going to be our last video together, and if you want to learn more, of course, on the UI UX, you are always free to come over to our office or send us a DM or a text message, and then we'll get back to you.
All right, guys, that brings a wrap to today's episode. And that's also a wrap on our learning series for user interface and user experience, aka UI UX. I'm sure you're ready to go and conquer the world of user experience and product design. Thank you for sticking with me through the 4-part learning series. It's been amazing. Now, to catch up on all the episodes you might have missed on UI UX and also other courses like digital marketing and advanced Excel, you can log on to our YouTube channel at Loctech Training. All the classes will be laid out for you in the playlist called Tech Room. Send us a DM on all socials at Loctech Training. You can also send us a text message or call us on 0703-888-5466. Resident Texas signing out. Akela Chikeji. Bye-bye.